Okay, we've got the common denominator, we're multiplying it, and what happens? Does anything cancel out when you multiply this by this? Those cancel, don't they? That leaves you with 9. Now, follow the orange arrow. This times this. Okay, so that would be x plus 7 over x plus 1 times x plus 1 over 1. Does anything cancel out there? Okay, leaving me x plus 7. Now this equation is a whole lot easier looking on the eyes than the other one. You subtract 7, you're done, right? X equals 2. Okay? Glad you're writing it down. Ooh, I don't know why I hit the save button. But that's what I mean when I say that I'm multiplying it all the way through the equation. What's the common denominator here in question 2? Well, I see that there's a 3 and a 5, and then I've got a 1 over there underneath the 8. What's the common denominator between 3, 5, and 1? 15. In other words, there's nothing in common between them, so you are forced to multiply them together. So, we're going to multiply the entire thing by 15. And if I multiply that times this fraction, what do I get? That's 15y over 3. Anybody know what we call that? 5y. Well, some people see it quicker than others do. So that's why I'm kind of walking it through and showing you based on what I've seen today. So there would be 15y over 5. What do we call that? 3y. And then 15 times 8. What do we call that? That is 120. You're right. Solve it. We got 8y equals 120, and then you divided by 8, and you ended up with a y value of 15. I hope you did, because that is correct. Now, what? You can go back and plug it in to check and see if it's correct. Now, I am not going to ask you or require that you go back and do that. I'm looking for the skills of solving. So, what's the common denominator here? 8y is one vote I have. Do you agree or disagree? Do you think it's 8 times y? Yes. Whoops. I need you to multiply everything times 8y. I need you to multiply it times that. I need you to multiply it times that. I need you to multiply it times that. Multiply it out. Show me what it is. Now, shouldn't eat and what?
So when you multiplied 8y over 1 times 5 over 8y, how did you get 5?
Okay, let me do the slow motion. Okay? Some of you can look at that and go 56 plus y equals 5. My answer is negative 51. I know that some of you can do that really quickly, and that is all the work that I would expect you to have to do. Oops, keep moving it around. Okay? But for those of you that are a little bit confused about what we did, so we have 7 over y times 8y over 1. The y's cancel out and leave me 7 times 8. That's where you get that from. And then we have 1 over 8 times 8y over 1. And the 8's cancel out. That leaves me with 1y. And then over here I have 5 over 8y times 8y over 1. The 8y's cancel out, leaving me 5. Well, and that's why some people see it right away, some people don't. There's nothing wrong with writing it out the other way. If that helps you, then write it out with those 3 fractions, and then go to the rest of the trouble of solving it, which won't be that much effort. Now that's z over 1. What's the common denominator that you need to multiply everything by? I got to vote for z. Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, I do.
It is z. So multiply, multiply, multiply. What is z times z? Boy, if we only knew what z times z was.
Z squared.
Z squared. How about z times 2 over z? That's just going to be 2, right? And then factoring is the essence of life.
It's like we're all running to math being it.
Okay.
What if you wanted minus 1?
That is one of the 2 correct answers. All right. Okay, now, what am I indicating to you right now? When did we do this? Yeah, we had quadratics. We set them equal to 0 so that we could do what? Factor it. I need 2 numbers that multiply together to give me 2 that add up to 3.
2 and 1.
Z plus 2, Z plus 1, that's right. Doesn't matter what order you put them in. The 2 answers are minus 1 and minus 2. That's true.
Could you not put Z and 2 together because my 2's will have Z's and I get confused with so like on the test, they'll give you ones that have 2 and Z together instead of
Okay. I don't know. We'll see. As you can see, I always put a line through my Z's just to kind of separate them. Okay. All right. Well, we'll see if we can not make life difficult. Now, this particular question right here is not one that we're going to do. All right. I started doing this question this morning in my first period class. Now, can you tell me, so there are a few things that you could tell me about this. Can you give me the common denominator? I'm not going to go through the process of solving this one because this one's ugly. But can you tell me what the common denominator is? You're right. Nothing wrong with what you said, but where'd you get it from? Okay, so he said that this and this have nothing in common, which he's correct. So the common denominator that you would be multiplying this by would be x plus 2 times x minus 2. Okay, now the problem with this is that we ended up with a quadratic. Now, you just ended up with the quadratic in the last one. But the factoring was easy in the last one. This one doesn't even factor. So, I taught you a method last year on how to solve quadratics if you can't factor them. The Berry method is a fancy form of factoring, so that's not it. If factoring is, there's no other way to do it, you can't factor it, What's your backup plan?
The box.
That quadratic formula, thank you very much.
Nobody.
That's what this one would require. I will not be putting this on your quiz or test.
Go ahead.
Or your test. Okay? Okay, we're not going to be doing this one because of that. It does, fourth period, I said, now, remind me of the method that we use. And I said, it starts with a Q. 3 kids said quit. I was like,
Those 3 kids are right.
yeah, that is the essence of their life, too. Okay. 6, 7, and 8 are gone. We're not going to do those. We'll jump down to number 9. Jump down to number 9. Okay, so we need the common denominator here. What is the common denominator between, I've got p plus 2, and 1? Oh, you're getting close. Folks, it's actually the product of those two things. Okay, now. For those of you that need to see it written out separately, here, I'll try to write it out separately in red. I got 15 over p plus, and there is a reason I left space there, 6p minus 5 over p plus 2. Okay, so just let me write this whole thing out, and then let's see if this makes sense to you. Okay, well, we'll try to not do that to you. Well, I don't plan on it, but I need to look and see what Math Excel chooses when it picks the problem. Okay, so that's what you're doing to this whole equation. Now, if you take a look at it, you're going to see some nice things happen to make your life easier. Stuff cancels out. So what's canceling out in the first one? We got a p that we can get rid of if I don't screw it up.
You gotta go to the bathroom.
I know. There's so many good jokes you could use with this one. All right, what cancels out? Yeah. What about that middle one? What cancels out in the middle one?
P squared.
P plus 2.
That's what I'm doing.
And does anything cancel out in the last one? No. So, folks, you're going to be distributing a 15 to that one, a p to this one, and a 6p to this one. Write it out. Do the distribution. Yep. First one, 15p equals 30. Good job. Okay, you get the next one, 6p squared minus 5p. Good job.
All right, that's where it is.
This is where I lost.
6p squared plus 12p.
Yeah.
6p squared.
think of it like
I
this.
do something right. If I wrote it like that,
Yeah.
and then just said that whole thing times that, and that whole thing times this. Wait, that was very
Oops. Don't be making fun of people. Do you see anything that cancels out on both sides of this equation? Something very nice cancels. We got those gone. 6p squared, they're gone, which makes my life a whole lot easier. Okay, combining my like terms. Thank you, Mr. Whitaker. 15p minus 5p gives me 10p plus 30 equals 12p. Okay, and then what? Minus 10p. Okay, that 2p or not 2p? That is the question.
That is the problem.
That, yes.
P equals 15.
P is 15. It is. So I used the different colors so you knew what I was distributing to all of them. Jump down to question 12. Okay, instead of annoying me, just pay attention. Factor that denominator. Factor the denominator. Two numbers that multiply together to give me negative 5, whose sum is positive 4. Nope. Negative 1 and negative 4 would give me positive 4 for a product.
Positive.
Set it backwards. That's why you write it down.
Positive 1 or
Negatives are on the other side.
Oh, we should have just looked at that, huh?
How would we apply this to
Any job in the real world requires logic. Any job. So if you can understand logic, whether it's my job or working anywhere, we all need logic. This particular skill, maybe not.
big politicians? You just need a big bank.
Yeah, that is true. Okay, tell me what the common denominator is that we're going to multiply everything by.
R plus 5.
R plus 5 times R minus 1. Now, I'll try to write it out here. 2R minus 2 times R plus 5 times R minus 1 plus 3 times R plus 5 equals 2 over R minus 1. So we're multiplying everything by R plus 5 and R minus 1. R plus 5, R minus 1. Yes, there will be some stuff canceling out. R plus 5. R minus 1.
Cancel out the first one.
I keep getting mixed up with this one here.
As long as they're on the same side,
Yeah.
and those are on the same side, that's why you got the 5R. It's just when you brought the 2R to the other side, that's how you
No,
got
it's just,
3.
I mean, just these two, like subtracting, taking the negative or whatever. These in this format, I don't know why.
Okay.
Well, hang on.
Yes.
Minus 1, right? With 9, so
Very legal.
how would you guess?
So when we take this, it's 5 times the first one. Parts. These and these going to cancel out.
I got one.
So if you take that top right, you are on to
That's fucking that Marvin or whatever you call them. Kids call it these kids.
That's that.
all of those cancel out. The only thing you're left with in the very first one
What?
is 2R plus 6.
Die.
Those cancel.
I think I forgot
Now
to
when
do
I
that.
do this one,
I
there's
mean,
this
it's
thing.
15.
Well, 3 See how those cancel? That leaves me with 3 and this thing.
It's too late.
So I distributed that to there.
It's too late to combine them
The
together.
other side of the equal sign, you have 2 of R minus 1, and it's getting multiplied by probably what happens right here. Yeah. Distribute that. So that's right here on the other side of these. So 2R plus 10. Solve it. Yeah, good. I'm going to start adding all terms together on this side. It's you're doing good until we got to this question. Yeah, we're looking good now. Start solving. It's looking good so far. Yes. It is. Nice job. Okay. So what canceled in the first one?
R plus 5.
Everything canceled. leaving me 2r minus 2. What canceled in the second? The r plus 5s. When I distribute the 3, I get 3r minus 3. What canceled in the last one on the right side of the equal sign? The r minus 1s. 2r plus 10. Okay. It'd be nice if you wouldn't just annoy the crap out of us. Thanks. Okay, next. Okay, so we get 5r minus 5, because that's all on the same side. Then we can push the r's to one side. How many would we have on the left? 3. We could add the 5 to the right, and now we can divide. And several of you did that, and you got an r value of 5. You are correct. Now, I am purposely going to ignore questions that have these types of solutions. You notice that as we've gone through here, they've had all kinds of different solutions, like no solution, infinite solution. I'm going to be ignoring those and not choosing any questions. So every question that I choose will have a solution to it. Yes. That is also a good way to do it. So Ms. Redelia said, hey, look, I see a 2r here and a 2r there. So she got rid of it, and she went all the way down here to 3r immediately. Nothing wrong with that at all. No, that's good. Good logic. Anything else on this question that was bothering you? Now I'm going to have you work on another one here. Let's do this one right here. Factor the denominator on the right side. What does that denominator on the right side factor into? X plus 11 and x minus 11. What is the common denominator that you're going to multiply everything by? X minus 11 and x plus 11. So multiply this times the first fraction and this times the second fraction. See what you get. Okay. So when you multiply times the first one, the x minus 11's cancel, leaving you x plus 1 times 11, which is x plus 11. All right, did I lose you? Oops. Sure. Now, if you want me to, I'll write it out the other way that I didn't, which we did before. X 1 over x 1 and x. Okay, so we're going to multiply by, nope, that's not what I wanted. X minus 11, x plus 11. X plus 11 and x minus 11. Okay, so on this side, just the x minus 11's cancel. Okay, that gives me the x plus 11. And on the other side, what cancels? This, right? Just leaving me x. Now what? The x's would cancel out. Excellent observation. Leaving me 11 equals 0. When in your lifetime has 11 ever equals 0? Never. So there is no solution to this. Now, the observation was made to me. I thought I was going to avoid those because I just said that I was going to avoid them. Yes, in a testing situation, I will. I will not be putting this kind of question on a test. But the algebra was good practice. Okay? And good job for today.